So why did the Mavic 3 crash while tracking the Sur-Ron X? Ooh. Oh!
That's not good.
That's coming right up. Hey everyone, my name is Rick Cordero. Welcome to RunPlayBack, where we help you with video and tech tips to lead a more efficient and affordable lifestyle. Let's be creative and save money at the same time. Today we're going to see how DJI Mavic 3's Active Track 5.0 failed on us while autonomously tracking our 72-volt Sur-Ron. The Mavic 3 is DJI's flagship high-end drone with features like omnidirectional collision detection, 46-minute flight time, and of course, Active Track 5.0. So with all those fancy features, why did it crash in less than 2 minutes after tracking our ride? Stick around to find out. So the main feature of Active Track 5.0 is the ability to set which follow angle you want. It also has new obstacle avoidance sensors and the advanced pilot assistance system, which keeps the Mavic 3 from crashing into obstacles. These sensors are positioned all over the drone's body at the most optimal angles. Also, the Mavic 3 doesn't use GPS to track you. Instead, it uses the internal camera and the sensors to detect your motion. Now I'm sure you're thinking that with all these features, the Mavic 3 should have absolutely no problem tracking us in an empty high school parking lot, but more on that shortly. We used the Mavic 3 controller bike mount that we found on Amazon. Also, since our handlebars have an unusual shape, we got a bike extension bar to mount everything in the center. Now with everything installed, we're able to take the whole kit with us while riding. All right, so we're gonna test out the Active Track 5.0 on the DJI Mavic 3. We're here in a empty parking lot. I'm with the homie Pat. He's got his 72-volt Super 73. Ooh, it is cold. If you can avoid doing this in January Michigan weather, highly recommended. Despite the extremely cold weather, things seemed pretty smooth and uneventful. It was a bright, clear day, and all we were planning to do was a few laps around the parking lot. We were set to normal mode, obstacle avoidance was set to bypass, the tracking highlight looked good, and the angle was set to left. All right, so you want to make sure that your controller is on normal mode. You don't want to put it on sport or cine, and then we'll take off. Now the thing that we want the drone to do is that we want it to make sure that it can see us. Now the only issue that I find is that it doesn't really recognize, it only recognizes people and cars. For some reason it doesn't really recognize people on bikes. So we're gonna highlight myself. We'll go to Active Track, we'll go left. That looks good. We'll hit go. And now it is autonomously tracking us. At first, things were looking fine. The tracking was a little close, but the shot was smooth. Now watch carefully at the behavior of the drone as it attempts to film the left angle. So let's just see how, this goes. Turn the bike on. And we'll just take it slow. See how well it does. So it looks like it's tracking us. Ooh, hey-oh. Oh! Oh no.
That's not good.
Now let's watch it again from the angle of Pat's camera. Pay close attention to the behavior of the Mavic 3 right before it crashes. And we'll just take it slow. See how well it does. So it looks like it's tracking us. Ooh, hey-oh. Oh! Oh no.
That's not good.
So luckily, the crash happened at a relatively low speed and short height, and it landed in a somewhat soft patch of grass and dirt. Well, there goes the test. Now I got this part. All right, well,
Well, we gave it a good old try.
Yeah. So there's a few things that we think contributed to the crash. By setting the angle to the left and the obstacle avoidance to bypass, the Mavic 3 attempted a very risky maneuver by veering from the front and then to the right, and then wildly overcorrecting with a fast speed swing to the left, smashing directly into the tree. It's as if the bypass setting overrides the obstacle avoidance sensors for a few seconds. But a few seconds is all it takes to crash a very expensive drone. As I noticed the risky overcorrection, you'll see that I stopped because I noticed a tree directly in its path. My hope was that if I stopped, the Mavic 3 would too, which obviously it didn't. Had I kept going, there is a possibility that the drone would have cleared the tree even if it clipped a few branches, but it still doesn't explain how the obstacle avoidance sensors completely froze up. There doesn't seem to be any major damage, just some dust here and there, no scratches really. Camera seems to be okay. Yeah, very disappointing to see that it couldn't even handle such a short flight and handle such a small obstacle like a tree. I think DJI has a lot of work to do on the tracking firmware, but yeah, we're not gonna try to do it again because we don't want to actually really crash the drone and damage it beyond repair. Okay, so we brought the drone home. It's actually in really good condition. As you saw, the way that it landed, it didn't really damage anything except for the props. The Mavic 3 actually comes with extra props, so it was easy to replace, and the motors all seemed fine. I took it outside and everything worked. The gimbal was fine. It flew normally. I think we just got really lucky with the way this thing landed because it could have been much, much worse. It kind of landed, I think, upside down, so it was kicking up dirt and it was spitting the dirt inside of the body. And so I took some compressed air and I just got it in some of the vents over here and was able to get most of it out. Even though there was no damage, I feel really hesitant about taking it out again and doing the test just because it's an expensive drone. Those kinds of crashes can actually be really, really catastrophic for something this expensive. And so I think what happens is that the bypass actually disables in some way the obstacle avoidance. So that's why it crashed. Will DJI improve the firmware? Possibly. But it's a very expensive test if it fails. So my confidence in this thing flying autonomously is really, really, really low. I think this is a great drone for flying manually just to get some aerial shots, real estate stuff, like the camera is really good, the image quality is really good, but autonomous flying, just not there yet. Overall, the Mavic 3 is actually a really cool drone as long as you fly it manually. The camera features are awesome. It has a 4.3 CMOS sensor, can do 4K up to 120 FPS, and 5.1K up to 50 FPS. But in terms of using it as an autonomous camera for e-bike riding, ActiveTrack 5.0 is nowhere near ready for anything more than a few simple walking shots. The obstacle avoidance sensors do nothing when it goes into bypass mode, and we weren't able to set the height or distance to clear any of the trees in the lot, which is a huge negative. Could we have gone back and tried again since the drone didn't really suffer any major damage? Sure, but the risk is definitely not worth the reward for the cost of this drone. In our opinion, nothing beats the precision of a talented drone operator, so for now, the Mavic 3 will only be used to fly manually. If DJI improves the firmware, we'll try it again, but right now, it's just not ready for prime time. In fact, we just placed our order for the Skydio 2 Plus to see how that holds up with autonomous flight. So if you're looking for a high-end drone to film yourself or your friends riding, then the DJI Mavic 3 is not a recommend. If you want to dive into more video and tech tips, click the links on the side and remember to like and subscribe so we can help you find tech deals that fit your lifestyle. We'll see you guys in the next video.